Organically Blunt Show, the podcast that dives deep into the world of cannabis with real, informative conversations. Whether you're a seasoned smoker or just curious, light up and join the conversation. Let's get organically blunt. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Organically Blunt. I am your host, Jay Blaze, and this evening I have the opportunity and the pleasure to meet Logan from Farming. I can't even pronounce the name of it correctly. I was looking at your logo, but farminginstitute.com, I think it was. I apologize. But
yeah, Institute of Natural Farming. Yep.
okay, yep. I knew I was going to butcher that, and I apologize for that because I have it not in front of me, and I was trying to memorize everything.
All good, bro.
This week's been crammed with a lot of shows, so I apologize. But
Nice.
Everybody's happy that you're here, and the biggest thing is, my audience asked for somebody that specializes in KNF farming, and I don't have the knowledge. So I reached out to you because you have the knowledge, you specialize in this type of stuff, and you also reteach it to others. So if you could give us a little information on how you got involved in KNF farming and other forms of farming and how you started your business to where it is today. Kind of give us a small rundown here.
Okay. Well, yeah. First of all, I mean, we're on a cannabis show here, so I am a second generation cannabis farmer.
Okay.
My father, was a cannabis farmer, basically, full time, but also a construction worker. So I grew up around that, lifestyle my whole life, and just, was always something, smoke one of Dad's roaches, and there your journey begins. You know what I mean? But so and my mother also was a gardener, so she always had me in the garden. Would be eating basil leaves and snap peas and green beans and tomatoes right off the plant growing up as a baby. So I always was tuned into nature. Of course, that being the greatest teacher of them all. And then, but to jump forward to your question, when did I start KNF and how did I get into KNF? Well, I've been, farming cannabis seriously ever since I was a teenager. And, I'm in my 40s now. So I basically, about 7 years ago, when I got introduced to Korean natural farming, what was going on is, I'll try to make it quick, but basically in Hawaii, we used to have a grower's paradise, This was before all the legalization in the west of the United States. And basically before there was a huge influx of imported clones and imported genetics that would come into the islands soon after, California, Oregon, and Washington lightened up. People started shipping clones out here. And of course, if you're not a second generation or you're not someone that really knows the know, you'll take any clone from any clown that will send you one, So what ended up happening is the paradise was soon lost to about about a dozen different new fungus diseases, blight, powdery mildew, broad mite, spider mite, stuff we've never seen before and never had to deal with as a small farm cultivators here on the island. Nobody grows in warehouses, nobody grows giant indoors, nobody has mega greenhouses with controlled environments. So we never had to deal with any of these pests that come along with artificial environments. That end up creating the cannabis pests that we see today. From trying, basically, what once you go wrong, like once you fight against nature, she'll give you something, to fight against. So that's where we get all of our diseases are basically coming from the artificial lifestyle that we try to create around agriculture. So anyway, we got those diseases out here in Hawaii. And, I never had to deal with it as a farmer, so I was unprepared. And it took me, maybe a few years of trial and error of different things, and even getting so desperate as to spray chemicals on my farm, which I had never done in my whole life, just trying to deal with this new blight. Basically, we got this, and it's still present today, but we've learned with natural farming methods how to mitigate it and actually control it to a level that allows us to get full, beautiful harvest still without using any chemicals and minimal natural sprays as well. So we can get into that as well. But basically, to answer your question, about 7 years ago, I had a blight on my cannabis greenhouses that was untreatable by any normal means of treating something. So I had to dig deeper, and basically God showed me Korean natural farming. Master Cho actually came to the island and was doing a seminar right around the same time that I was looking for answers. And I went to a Master Cho himself. He doesn't teach anymore, but I actually got to go to 3 different seminars with Master Cho himself. And that's what started me on my journey. And that at first it didn't click, but the more I dug into it, it finally clicked. And now it's just like second nature. It's just the way it's meant to be. We need to team up with nature and stop teaming up with corporation and bottled nutrients and poison manufacturers to feed our plants.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I love growing organically myself. I have an autoimmune disease myself, so I have to watch what I put into everything and what I put into my body. So to be sustainable and to use your resources that are right on your land, that's what I like to do. I never knew there was a formal name for it until, you know, people are like, "Oh, KNF," and I'm like, "Well, what's this?" And they're like, "Oh, we would love to hear more about it. If you find somebody you can bring on your show that specializes in this, we'd love to learn about it and hear about it more." So, I did some digging on YouTube and I typed in KNF farming, and I'm not gonna lie, you came up number one. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, this guy obviously has some videos, and I started watching a few of them, and I'm like, he obviously knows what he's talking about. I am coming in completely blind here, other than what I've done personally. But you know, where would you point someone that wants to get started in this? Where would be a good learning point, I guess? Or is there any good books you recommend, or do you recommend coming and joining one of your classes? Is your classes offered online? I guess these are just a lot of questions that I have.
Okay. Well, I'll address those in order. First of all, I want to address what you said about you've always known to use things that are outside in your yard and to use your own things on your farm. That's just your intuition. That's your higher intelligence speaking to you. That why would I go to a store? Like what did the natives do? What did my ancestors do? What did the ancient cultures do? Did they go to the store to feed their plants? Do you
Right.
think that did they team with Fox Farm and Advanced Nutrients to feed their plants? No,
No.
they didn't. They teamed with Mother Nature. So really, it's just re-tapping back into to get through this commercialized, over-capitalistic mindset we were born into to always consume products made by corporations, and we think that that's the way to go. So you were always already using your intuition, and what I want to remind everybody and yourself is that our ancestors did the same thing. They used their intuition. They used compost teas. They made compost. They made ferments. They made tinctures, and they knew how to properly tend to the earth in order to get a return. Because you have to have that knowledge if you want to survive on the earth without corporations. You have to provide for yourself. So all of our ancestors knew. All of the native cultures of this world knew. So it's nothing new. Korean natural farming is just the most recent package. And what I like about Korean natural farming is that Master Cho has actually made it into an actual package that has a complete system. So if you follow the system, you're covering all your bases that even like Western Ag would teach you: your NPK, your micronutrients, your microorganisms. So we can still fulfill a Western mindset if you want to look at it that way, because Master Cho has provided a complete system. And what I mean by a complete system, it contains 9 core, what we call solutions that you can make at home. And there's about 3 sugar ferments. There's a tincture that's made with alcohol. And there's about 3 vinegar extractions. So extractions, tinctures, and ferments to make the 9 core nutrients. Also, one of them is just plain seawater, because seawater contains all 82 minerals known to that biologically are needed for a plant and man. So it's all in balance in the sea, in the ocean already.
Wow.
Master Cho says, because if you read the Bible, the first there was water, right? It was just the ocean, and the land emerged out of the water. So Master Cho reminds us that when we bring seawater onto the land, we're reminding the earth of its birthplace. So all the minerals of the salt, when diluted, are the same minerals found in your blood.
Wow.
Yeah, so when you dilute seawater 1 to 30 with regular water, you're at the same salinity and mineralization of human blood. And then
That's
you got to,
insane.
yeah, man. So anyway, Master Cho's got like the complete system, and how you would get started in Korean natural farming, I think would be, just like you said, like maybe doing some searching around. But I'll drop some names for you guys. Since I'm on the podcast, I do have a KNF, Korean Natural Farming and Cannabis video on my YouTube channel, which is the Institute of Natural Farming YouTube channel. You just type in Institute of Natural Farming, you'll see the logo on there, and go to the channel. There's about 12 videos. Most of them touch a little bit on Korean natural farming, but one of them in particular is all about cannabis and how to get off the tit of the corporation and to provide for yourself and make all your own inputs. So I highly recommend watching that video. It is like a 2-hour plus lecture, but it's really good. That's my offering. I put it out there to the world in 2020, and I think it stands alone. As if someone wants to watch that, they could figure out every single thing they need to know about transferring their farm to a natural method. Besides that, if you want to get further, if you want to get certified in Korean natural farming, there are 2 teachers out there that are actually really good friends of mine, and I would say are on par with myself, and even have taken it even a little bit further in the ag industry, not the cannabis industry, but the ag industry with the Korean natural farming. And that's a guy a lot of people have heard of, Chris Trump, and he actually has videos online where he offers like a certification class online now. And he's a good friend of mine. He's from Hawaii too, and he's a cool dude. He just kind of relates it more to big ag, but a lot of cannabis people have hired him as well. So I think he's got his mind kind of wrapped around the cannabis at this point. And then the other guy is a really good friend of mine, and also one of my early teachers, Drake Weinhardt, from I think it's HawaiiNaturalFarming.net. And so those 2 resources and myself are plenty to just rocket, blast off in Korean natural farming. Now the book is super hard to find. It's called Natural Farming by Master Cho. Sometimes you can find it on eBay, but if you search around, there's some PDFs online. There's definitely the PDF from India online. When he went and taught a class over there, they put out a PDF that's not available online. So just a little bit of searching, you'll find, if you can find the original book, or at least the original literature, it's called Natural Farming by Master Han-Yun Cho.
Okay, definitely. I'll rewind this afterwards, and I'll search it, and maybe I can get me a copy to add to my library here, because I've had other authors on the show. I've had Jeff Lowenfels with the whole teeming bacteria.
Yes.
He's a great guy too, and yeah, definitely. So you're in Hawaii. I do have a couple friends in Hawaii. Matter of fact, a good friend of mine that we're going to actually be doing a remote episode from an upcoming big event called Legacy at Big Cloud Farms here in Michigan. But he is moving back to Hawaii, and a lot of people know him from the podcast called Growcast, but his name is Jordan Rivers. He'll be moving back there. And I guess his parents live there. So it's definitely going to be very cool to sit down. We're going to sit down and hash out an hour on the 21st and do a show. But I've got him. He's from Hawaii, and my other friend owns a company called Bud and Lather. I don't know if you've heard of them, but
I've heard that before, yeah.
Yeah, that's two of my friends that live out in your neck of the woods, I guess you'd call it. Or, well, it's not neck of woods, but you're part of the island, I guess you'd say. Yeah, man, that's got to be crazy, though. I guess I have questions as far as your geographical location and, how hard is it to get? I mean, I know you get a lot of stuff off your land, but how hard is it to get some of the things that you can't get there? I mean, does the shipping cost really kill you guys out there? I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's kind of one of the reasons too that I went down the avenue I did was, like you're going to these grocery stores buying a bag of soil for $30 that costs you maybe $12 in the mainland, and
yep,
that's basically the shipping fee right there. You know what I mean? So some stuff doesn't make sense. A $60 bag of earthworm castings doesn't make sense when they're free to make. You know what I mean?
right,
So those are definitely some of the things that got me thinking, to do this and to study the method, because the other method that's also taught on a mass scale when it comes to cannabis farming is using new soil every time.
right,
Now,
yep,
whatever genius in the soil industry taught people that one, you're a genius, bro, because it only gets better over time if you treat the soil right. But we got people throwing it away on the second round or tossing it out the back. Like cannabis farms around here have a huge pile of soil in the back, because they buy soil every single time. So
right.
it some form of mental retardation going on, or great marketing, or a little of both. But anyway,
Definitely,
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I'm guilty. Up until last year, I'm guilty as everybody else. I
Me
was doing
too.
the
Me
same.
too. Me too.
I, I was doing the same thing. Actually, a good friend of mine, he owns a soil company and he's a registered geologist here. And he runs a company called Country Roots. And he's big into your kind of stuff. And he's one of the people that kind of, wanted me to get more into it. And, like he said, he said, why are you throwing it away? I said, because I thought it was just no good afterwards. But then it got down to the point, I kept doing it because I live in a housing community and I'm like, where am I going to get it? Where am I going to store it? Well, matter of fact, I got two 55-gallon totes next to me full of soil that I've mixed up, and I've worked with Jeremy over at Build a Soil and a few other guys, and I'm learning it. And, you know, I'm reamending because the two closest grocery stores, the one was like 15 minutes away, the other was like a half hour, and the next one is like an hour and a half. While the two closest ones just closed their doors, and it's like, oh, where am I going to get my supplies? So then I got a hold of Jeremy at Build a Soil, and I got a hold of my buddy, and I'm like, we got to learn how to. I want you to teach me how to reamend, and now I'm into that. I've always done it outdoors, but when I had to move indoors because I lost my family to COVID, unfortunately, and we lost the farm, I had to downscale. So I had to learn how to bring everything outdoors indoors. And it's been a learning process, but I'm into the living soil indoors. That's what I do mostly now. So, I'm always learning stuff here, and it's awesome. So I guess with that being said, other than KNF, I mean, what are some of the other things you grow besides cannabis? I mean, I was looking at some of the other stuff you had on your page, and some of the stuff is very interesting, and some of it's very tropical and stuff I've never been exposed to. So, like, do you have, other than cannabis, do you have something that like you specialize or you favoritize into growing?
Yeah, well, basically, I have like a 10-acre permaculture farm, and it's an
Okay.
off-grid permaculture farm. So, being a permaculture farm, you plant in different, in a way that you're putting multiple species of plants in these different plots. So within those plots, I got everything from papaya to taro to white pineapple to cassava to peaches to, I mean, the list goes on and on. But it's not like I'm growing them and selling them to the public.
Right, right.
These are just kind of like food forest permaculture patches, areas I don't have to weed whip because they're producing food instead. And but to answer the question directly about, I stopped doing it about 2 years ago, but the previous 5 years to that, I sold white pineapples, organically, naturally farmed white pineapples. I would sell about 5,000 pounds a year. I did that for about 5 years straight, and then
Holy
you got to
cow.
keep planting the beds every 2 years. So it just waned out as far as having time to do it. But yeah, white pineapples I sold a lot to Thai food restaurants, and this guy would make shave ice syrup with them, and kombucha company here locally would buy a lot
Okay.
of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just got a place in town that's making that now finally, and in our small town. I haven't tried it yet, and I never even knew there was white pineapple. So now I'm
Yeah.
half tempted to go to the store tonight and try this. So
The
I,
sugar loaf white pineapple. I mean, there's I bet there's hundreds of varieties of pineapple in the world, but the most prolific one you see is that giant yellow pineapple that's growing all over Hawaii and Mexico and whatnot, and imported. But this white pineapple, it's low acid. It's called a sugar loaf white pineapple. Very low acid and about twice as sweet as an average pineapple. So they're highly
okay.
sought after out here. $5 a pound this year.
Wow. Wow.
That,
Yeah, that's
that means
like,
a pineapple this big is like $50.
holy cow. That's like
Just this year, inflation year.
That's like morel mushrooms. I've never ate morels, but a lot of my friends hunt them here, and they're into that. And I've never really gotten into it because I'm too busy. But I love to do photography and stuff, so the hiking part of it's cool to go look for it and stuff. But yeah, I think it was like 15 or 30. Actually, no, I think it's more than that now. I think it's like $35 a pound, if not more. I don't know. I'd have to go look. I never got into it.
I saw morels for $99 a pound at Whole Foods when I was just in the mainland. So
Oh,
$99 a
wow.
pound,
Okay.
bro. It's inflation time. You got to grow some food, man, and sell it.
Right. Yeah. Hipsters, one of our audience members wants to know, is that pineapple that gummy bears are supposed to taste like?
They're trying, but you'll never get close to the real thing. You got to get those terps straight from the source.
Yeah, yep, yep. Well, we always ask a couple questions, just about you in general on this show. And I kind of want to run through those because we try to keep people on here about an hour. You've been here about 23 minutes, and not to put a cap on things, we take as long as we like, but I just don't want to bore you or take up too much of your time as well.
All
So
good.
one of the questions that we always ask, is how old were you when you first tried cannabis, and where'd you get it from?
Nah, I know the exact time and age. I was 12 years old, and we took some of my dad's shake. Actually, it was just some dried leaves, and burned it out of his pipe.
Nice,
And then
nice.
we jumped on the trampoline, and my older brother and his friend were, "Do you feel it?" But that was the first time. But then, when I was in the summer of eighth grade, between eighth and ninth, I bought $100 worth of herb, which was actually about a half ounce that a friend had homegrown, and I brought it to Santa Cruz with me on a trip that my mom sent me to go live with my oldest brother, who was in college in Santa Cruz. And I brought this quarter ounce with me, and that was the first time I ever smoked day by day by day by day for like a whole time, for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks straight. And I think that was the trip that set it all in motion.
Definitely, definitely. That's awesome. So, you know, speaking of foods and other things, the second question we typically ask after that one is, if you had a go-to munchie, what would it be? Is it something sweet, something salty, sour? Is it,
It's
you
fruit,
know,
bro. Fruit. It's fruit, man. Everybody's got to eat fruit, and it's the best, man. Not that grocery store fruit either. The stuff off the tree, man. You got to. Have you ever had a peach off a tree? A mango off a tree? Holy shit! You'll never want to eat nothing artificial or from a store again. These things are like So good. They're like the top flight, the high bricks count going off the charts. A plum off a tree? What? Come on, you can't beat a pineapple off the pineapple bush. It's just these fruit is the fruit. It's the highest grade. It cleanses your body, helps you take a shit. It feeds you minerals. It's the stuff, bro. It's the stuff everyone's missing, and that's why they systematically cut that out of our diet so we'd all suffer.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I haven't tried a lot of those fruits because a lot of them aren't available here, but it's kind of like an apple here.
A real
An
apple
apple.
off a tree? Oh,
Oh
those are
yeah.
the best, man.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I like the Granny Smith myself. That's my favorite, but everybody's got their own. I worked in the produce industry, so I'm familiar with it because I was the truck driver. I'm the guy who delivers the fresh produce basically on a daily basis to your area restaurants that use fresh produce on a daily basis. Not all of them do, but we have a big handful that do, and a whole route, and I deliver it, and asparagus and stuff
Nice.
like that. So it's definitely awesome. But the tropical stuff, that's so cool. I've never tried star fruit. Probably the most tropical thing I've ever tried, and I know it sounds bad other than pineapple, is probably like kiwi or something, because yeah. I need to. I've never tried papaya, I kind of just been, I guess,
Where are you
scared
at?
to.
What state are you in?
I'm in the mitten. I'm in Michigan.
Oh, okay. You're in Michigan. All right. Cool. Cool.
Yep. So we're
Nice.
surrounded
Maybe
by
you got
all
to
the
take a
fresh
trip.
water.
Take a trip to Florida or Costa Rica or something.
Oh, I got family in Florida. The first time I went there, I was about 15 years old. I'm 39 this year, and I seen an orange tree or bush, and I'm like, whoa, what is that? My cousin's like, that's oranges. I was like, oh, I thought they grew like potatoes, and he laughed at me, and I'm like, I never knew. We never been exposed to that. And
Man, the south of Florida has all the tropical fruits you find in Hawaii and the Caribbean and everything. I'll just give you one plug real quick. MiamiFruit.com. They'll send you a
okay,
box of all the tropical fruits you could think of. As soon as they're in season, they'll send it to you. So
okay,
that's one
I'll have to
right there.
check that out. Yeah,
Miami
yeah.
Fruit.
Because I've been looking for stuff like that on Amazon. I'm a
I would
nerd
just
like that.
get a box from Miami Fruit, man. You can kind of pick and choose, or they can send you a variety box, and it'll blow your mind. It's not cheap, but
Definitely.
it's super
Right.
terpy.
Yeah, definitely. Because I've been into wanting to try things from different areas, and I'm like, okay, maybe I'll order one of them boxes from overseas and try some Taiwan food or some Chinese
But
or some
the,
Ireland. And yeah,
still, the
yeah,
reality is, though, it goes back to like the natural farming, though. The bioregional ingredients are going to be best for you, So
yep.
like even so finding a farmer near you that's growing the fruits that grow in your climate are going to be best for the microbiome that's in your belly, because the
Okay.
microbiome in your belly is different than the one in my belly in Hawaii. So
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
you have indigenous microorganisms in you and on you at all times, and those ones interact best with food and food stuff from your bioregion, from your yard in particular. But if you're not growing it, then it's always good to meet a local farmer, and it's fine to pay them a premium, because it's either you pay the farmer now or pay the doctor later. It's what one do you want to do.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point, man. I don't always look at things like this, but you definitely opened my eyes up a little bit to a couple of things. Definitely, because my uncle, he owned, he's too old now, he's in his 80s, but he owned condominiums on the Gulf of Mexico, mind you, and he lives here in Michigan on one of our lakes here. And he always used to say, yeah, when I go down there and yeah, I think it was Alabama in the Gulf or whatever, the Gulf of Alabama, Gulf Shores, whatever. I've never been there, but he used to say, I'd drink the water and I'd get sick. He said, even though the people there could drink it, he said, but I'd come home and it would be fine. I think you just answered the reason why. And I
100%.
never, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's like when
somebody,
you travel a lot and you got diarrhea the first kind of week of traveling. It's the same thing.
right? Yep. David said this might be controversial, but California oranges for the win. Yeah, I've never, I've never had California oranges. I don't think. I think I've only had Florida. So, oh, I think we lost you there. Oh, can you hear me? I think we lost your volume on your end. Oh, I don't know what happened there. Huh. If you have to leave and come back in, we will understand. If it don't work, I don't know what's going on. Okay. Yeah, probably buffering. All right, guys. Sorry about that. He lost some connection. I couldn't imagine what it's like living on an island. I've never been on a full island like that, other than Parris Island, South Carolina, which was a Marine base. So to go to Hawaii, I'm sure they probably have towers all over the place. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. All right. Yep,
You
he's
hear me?
back. Yep, we got you. I don't know what
Nice. You got
happened
the
there.
audio?
Yep, we got your
Someone
audio.
All right, cool. Yeah, I'm on the phone. I'm on my iPhone, and someone tried to call. I think that messed with our conversation, but yeah, man.
Okay.
What I was trying to say is like how he's saying, like, yeah, the California oranges for the win. Once again, it's bioregional. You want to eat the oranges from your yard, from the closest place. It's just I
Yep.
was just commenting how Florida's got that tropical little you can tap in the United States. You can still go somewhere that have those wild, crazy fruits.
Definitely, definitely, definitely. So, you said you smoked with your brother when he was away in college, but where has been the most risque place that you've consumed? Either, an edible, a dab, flowers, you know, and you knew you weren't supposed to smoke there, but you did anyway, and you got away with it. I mean, past tense now, you can't get in trouble. So everybody has a spot.
Well, of course, isn't it the vape pen on the airplane? I thought that was everybody's.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot. We get that all the time. And
The vape pen on the airplane, man. You might have the what do you call it? FDA wait or not FDA, but the the DEA
TSA,
waiting for you
yeah,
there, at the airport.
right, exactly.
But no, I
Yeah,
mean, nowadays, I don't even feel there is any risk involved, with how much states have legalized and how easy it is, it's basically they got, I mean, not in this state, but you go to California, they got like, you can smoke on the curb at the bar, it's like
yep,
the risk is almost gone, so, but, back in high school days, of course we would go to the bathroom during fifth period and stuff like that. So that, there was those kind of times. But
yep.
nowadays, as an adult, man, you just burn your spliff anywhere. No one can tell you nothing,
Yeah, that's how it is here too. I mean, it's sad because, I always tell this story. A couple New Years ago, I went to Memphis, and I went and walked around Memphis, and then I went to Nashville, all on the same day. And you know, it was New Year's, and here we had a half a foot of snow on the ground. Down there, it was 70 degrees. I'm walking around in shorts, and I bust my box out and I put it on the dash. I roll one up, and I'm walking around out there, and they're like, you can't do that here. And I'm like, why? And they're like, you're not in Michigan. And I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. I'm like, my bad, but
Right.
definitely. But, the final question that I typically ask everybody, is if you could smoke with anybody dead or alive, who would it be and why? But I want the first organic person that pops in your mind. I don't want you to think about it too long.
Well, I mean, if we're going for the first that popped in my mind, it was Bob Marley. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
burn a spliff with Bob. I'm sure a lot of people say that. But then I started thinking deeper, and I would probably
Sure.
go for some kind of spiritual guru of some sort, maybe Haile Selassie or, one of these, Yogananda or somebody that might, have a more insightful. But Bob Marley too, man, like he'd blow your mind at Reason with Bob and Smoke with Bob. So I'll stick with that. Yeah, man, Bob Marley and me taking dabs. That'd be fun.
Right. Yeah. David, you say it's prohibited in public in California, but not enforced. Yeah, it's kind of like that here in Michigan.
Same with Hawaii.
Yeah, it's not abolished though. Like they really could care less as long as you're not like in the public.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Being rude about it. Right.
Yep. I mean, we just had it's been a big streak here. I mean, where you're at, it's probably normal, but in Michigan, it ain't. It's been 90s for like the past 19 days, roughly here. And it was storming when we started the show. I was hoping to get some rain because my outdoor really could use it, But it's just so hot here that it's like been tropical, and it's affecting so much of our agriculture here that it's been insane, and we're not used to it. On top of everything else, our corn is even being affected here, because it didn't get enough rain to germinate all of it, and so farmers are dealing with that and a few other things.
You can thank HARP for that. HAARP, HARP. If you don't know what that is, you could look it up. It's the weather modification system that they use to basically mass control the population. So if you're wondering why you have crazy weather patterns that you've never seen and history doesn't talk about, it's not global warming or climate change, folks. Sorry to bust your bubble.
Yeah, they just shut down our pier yesterday. We had 7,000 people show up to our pier, and it was so many people that they shut it down because somebody got smart and they obviously didn't have what they call a concealed weapons permit, and they had a weapon that was concealed. And when they were walking around out there, somebody in the crowd spotted it, and that was all it took, and the police were there, and they shut the whole show down. I mean,
what was it? It was a cannabis gathering, or what was it for?
It's just a summertime gathering. Everybody we're here in Michigan. We have lighthouses for bringing in ships into our what we call channels or shipping ports, and usually on each side of it is the beach, and that's where a lot of people congregate, and they go in the summer because it's nice.
I got you.
And they have this pier that runs out into the Lake Michigan, and it has a lighthouse at the end of it.
Right.
And everybody jumps off it into the water, and they swim. It's kind of deep, but if you swim, you're good. You got to know about undertows and currents and stuff like that here, but and we have a flag system, so you pay attention to the flags and the lights to know if it's safe to swim. But it was safe. It was hot, in the 90s.
So you guys were just having a party and big old party, and then they wanted to shut it down with some excuse they gave, right?
Yep. And
right. No fun in Michigan. Don't have fun, guys.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I Hipster said Pennsylvania's been dry too. Yeah, I think it's been everywhere on top of our what we call the wildfire smoke. Our air quality has been in the unhealthy range for the past week and a half. And if it ain't the haze, every other day it's swapping from haze to ozone. They're like, oh, today's an ozone day. Tomorrow it's a haze day. Don't drive your car. Don't fill it up. Don't cut your grass. Don't ride a bus, ride a bike. And it's like,
holy shit.
Yeah, they put it on our highway signs. And then now Michigan just passed. I'm afraid it's gonna be like California kind of, but the right to put in carpool lanes. They cannot utilize current lanes though. They have to put in new ones. And my best friend lives in California. I know a couple of our people in the audience do too. And he told me in the carpool lane, people were actually putting dummies in the passenger seat so they can drive in the car. I've
Oh
never
yeah,
seen this. You know, I come from a small town, a one Lincoln Lake town. So like
that's an
this is
old
culture shock.
California trick. Old California trick right there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to get out there someday, but definitely, you know, I mean, so, you know, we've been here 40 minutes. Is there anything that, you know, we could let anybody in the audience know where to find you? Any information on stuff that might be coming up with you that might be interesting to check out, or anything in general you want us to know?
Yeah, well, basically, like I usually just try to promote that YouTube channel, like I talked about in the beginning of the conversation. It's just type in Institute of Natural Farming in the search engine, and there's a channel. And on that channel, there's about 14 or 15 videos. There's a few like shorts, like little short mini documentaries about natural farming with some of the best in the business, like Dragonfly Earth Medicine and that natural farming Hawaii.net. Drake has an interview on there too. So it's kind of like a little, you know, just like a mini doc series. And then there's the lectures, the 12 lectures that cover everything from how to eat to live, which is all about diet and food, and then it all the way down to you know spirituality in farming. You know, there's a whole list of subjects that you could check out there. I've been doing a little bit on the podcast circuit. If you go to crow777radio.com, I have 3 interviews on there all about Korean natural farming. And the last one was all about soil and how I basically linked the human being is soil, and we're made of soil. And all the ancient scriptures say that, you know, God made man from soil and breathed the life into him, you know. So I
Definitely.
correlate soil to the human and why we're so connected to it, and why we came from it, and why we will return from it inevitably. No matter what you think or believe, you will become soil one day, no matter what you think otherwise.
No, you're definitely right. You know, I heard this on another show not too long ago, you know, and they said basically the same thing. He said, you know, what comes from the earth will die in the earth, and you know that was the most honest answer or statement I've ever heard. You know, what comes from the soil will return to the soil, and everything that we need comes from the soil. So
Yeah, yeah.
definitely, it's definitely
Basically, you know,
cool.
the creator of this realm has given us all tools to survive in this realm. You know, so it's
Yes,
only through manipulation of other human beings, control mechanisms, corporate overtaking of resources, greedy humans. You know, these are the reasons why people, you know, suffer and have lack. You know, that because we kind of lost our way. You know what I mean? So really,
definitely,
my message is to understand who you are, you know, who your birthright is as a natural being on this planet. And actually you're an inheritor of everything natural on this planet. So the sunlight's free, the water's free, the soil's free, the fruits are free. It's all because God gave it to you, because you're an inheritor. You're it's your birthright to have abundance, you know. And so only through human manipulation do they control us and make us depressed, and kind of we're all kind of lost. What's the meaning of life? What am I gonna do? Da, da, da. This is all by
right,
design, you know, before we knew exactly what we were doing, because we're from this earth. We are this earth. Tending this earth is our duty, you know. And once you kind of lose sight of that is when confusion sets in, and you, oh, what's my career, what's my purpose, you know, what's this and that. But really it's always been right in front of your face. You know, you're just a caretaker of the earth. It's just you got to kind of claim it, take it back, take some work,
definitely, definitely.
get your hands dirty a
Now,
little bit.
no, definitely, definitely. Now, before we let everybody go here this evening, we have started a new thing. A lot of the people in chat know. Each week, when we do a show, when we have a guest, we do the Seeds of Bounty giveaway. And this week, we are doing a pack of seeds, mystery pack from Captain Redbeard Seeds. So, for you guys in chat, you know, you're gonna put in the bounty word in chat to get entered in the drawing. I'm going to get that going here while we're finishing up the rest of the show here. and we'll pick a winner before the show's over. So with that being said, I'm going to open up the giveaway for 5 minutes. So here we go, guys. All right. So as that's doing its thing, is there a particular strain that you love to grow yourself or that you are growing right now? Do you have anything going on in your garden as far as cannabis goes right now?
Yeah, man. So it's all about hash, right? I mean, that's what it's all about these days is the live rosin, like live rosin is king, so I'm growing strains for live rosin is what I'm doing now. And in particular, my favorite, if you're asking that, is actually this cut that we got from 710 Labs from California of the papaya. And this
Ooh,
cut is unbelievable. It's the best hash I've smoked in my life. I always reach for it first out of everything else. I usually, if someone's going to purchase some hash, I usually don't let them purchase the papaya because then they're just spoiled. They only want that one after, So it's
right.
true premium head stash, the papaya cut that we got. I got a really good cut of sour tangy that's also from 710 Labs that I really love. And then to like get away from the fruit terps, I'll reach for this GMO cut that I got from this guy named Laughing Shaman, who's also a really good hash maker from Southern California. And he sent me the real GMO. Like this thing dumps like 8% hash
Ooh.
return, and it tastes just like some kind of like mushroom garlic gravy or something, or some boot leather or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
those,
It's
those
got that strong musty. Oh, I
yeah,
can't even explain it. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying, definitely. So,
boot polish or something.
right. So everything you grow essentially is something that washes real well, and you can create a great product with. I don't know a lot about
Nowadays,
hash, but I do know that I've been going to a lot of the events that are around it lately. I am a flower guy, but I just tried hash the correct way for the first time last weekend. I never knew how to smoke it or anything, to be honest. And I gotta admit, it wasn't bad. It was a high quality product locally made here. And otherwise, I probably wouldn't have done it. I also did my first dab in about, let's see, 23 years since I took a dab. And yeah, my brother, the first time it ever came out and came around, I've always been a flower guy. He got it so hot that I got sick. And it wasn't good, and I never did it again. And my buddy that I trusted, the geologist, and all of us were sitting around the booth this past weekend at an event, and he said, "Come on, do it." I said, "Man, I am not doing that." I said, "I'm going to get sick like I did the first time. I'm good." And he said, "Oh, no, he had it too hot." And he busted out a Puffco. It was one of the small ones. And he did it up, and I didn't cough. I didn't get sick. It was smooth. And I was just like, okay, I told him, I said, "That's great." And I already feel 20 times higher than I did with my flower, but I can't do that because if I get addicted to that, I'm not going to be able to afford it, and I don't know how to
yeah,
make it. So I'm
yeah.
gonna,
You don't want to be
yeah,
buying that by the gram, that's for sure.
exactly, yeah. So David wants to know what some of your favorite breeders are. Do you have any favorite breeders?
Yeah, well, I mean, as of recent, I mean, I think, Bloom, Harry Palms has like taken the whole thing by storm, you know what I mean? I'm hard pressed to find someone who can compare to his hash strains, you know what I mean? So right now, everything that we're pheno hunting is Harry Palms, Bloom Seed Co. That's
Okay.
that's pretty much it. There's a few other guys out there, Soulfire and Relentless, and the Reg that did the cookies and cream. What was his name? Exotic Mike. Like those all those companies got hashers too. My good friend though, he if you want something that's like more on the flower line and that can like really hold up really good outdoors, I would definitely check out Pacific Northwest Roots. My brethren Kaya, who won one of the cannabis cups with that coffee strain. That coffee strain's super resilient, and it's like a really good, flower strain. And if you're looking for some really good flower strains with some hashers mixed in, Pacific Northwest Roots is like, as far as like someone that I know personally that puts heart and soul, that would be that company. And then just for the hashers, of someone that I just basically follow and witness their awesome, breeding, is Bloom, Hairy Palms.
Okay, excellent. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. Somebody, Winchester, said you guys have rolling blackouts there. Now, if you do, how does that affect your growing, especially being in flower? Like, you almost have to guaranteed be on a generator for something like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, well, the thing is, like, no one's really growing indoor. We have the most expensive
Okay.
electricity in the whole nation. Our
Oh,
electric
wow.
bills are double what the next, California would be, which is the next highest, So, like, nobody's growing indoor. You might maybe have like an indoor mother room or something like that, but that's about it. And that has LEDs in it, So,
Right.
but no, but you're right though. No, anybody that's dependent on lights probably has a generator backup for sure. I'm 100% off grid on my farm, so I have solar power and a generator which I rely on, and over
Oh,
here in
yeah.
Hawaii it's about light extension. So there's it never goes over 12 and a half hours of light in a year. So you're never going to be able to veg a plant outdoors without light extension, which is different than most other places where you're doing light deprivation, because you want to cut that down to a 12-hour photo night period, So we have to do light extension. So a lot of people will just have their medical grow in their yard, and you'll drive past at 9 o'clock at night, and it's just bright right in their yard, because they have to extend the daytime, in order to keep them in veg, or else all your plants flower like that big. Unless you have a really good sativa strain or something, then you'll be able to
Right.
get some lift out of it, some height out of it.
So I'm sorry for another question here, but so then autoflowers must not perform at all there.
Do not
Oh,
want an autoflower. That's the worst case scenario for Hawaii.
yeah, like Hipster said, he's picturing that your guys' strains are tall and lengthy then.
Well, yeah. Well, listen to this. Like, I have a story real quick from a Hawaiian elder who used to grow here 30, 40 years ago, and he talks about the real Hawaiian strains that used to be here, and he said that they would just keep vegging, like basically like almost like a year-round plant even. So like it was like a super sativa that would just kind of keep growing, and then it would, as soon as this the winter time came along, then it would flower and put off some flowers. But he would even say it would re-veg the next season. So this is like stuff I've never heard of in cannabis, but that's what he was saying. Some of these original Hawaiian strains were actually these tall, gangly kind of sativas that, I mean, you probably don't even see them around anymore. But yeah, the original Hawaiian strains that did well out here are all tropical sativa based, that had like, because that's the only way you'd get veg out of them,
Wow, that's crazy. Definitely.
But
Well,
nobody
I'm gonna
grows
pick.
those anymore. Nobody grows those anymore. Like, there's no market for that kind of flower. You know what I
Sure,
mean? So
sure,
it's all
sure.
about, it's light extension now.
Man, that's crazy. I'm gonna pick a winner for this week's bounty. So, with that being said, everybody, we're gonna pick a winner here real quick, and it looks like the winner has been picked twice somehow by the software. So, with that being said, I will give out 2 packs this week. So, you guys both got lucky. Winchester Wild 90, you will be getting a mystery pack, and David Bryden, you will too. So, that was my mistake, and everybody will that got picked on that will win the pack. So, with that being said, if you have our email, organicallyblunt@gmail.com, or you can DM me on Instagram with your shipping information. Make sure you put your name in there so I know who you are, and we'll get you out a pack. I'll even present you with a tracking number. So Captain Redbeard will make sure you guys get taken care of. So congratulations on that, everybody. And once again, Logan, I appreciate your knowledge and your time. You're always welcome to come back on the show at any time. If you have anything going on or you want to share something or anything at all and you just want to get it in the limelight, you're always welcome on the Organically Blunt show, like I tell everybody. So with that being said, we appreciate your knowledge and we hope you have a great evening. And thank you for coming on the Organically Blunt show.
Right on, brother. Just remember, God is on your side, man. Nature is on your side. The truth will always prevail. Just join into it. Give it a chance. Let nature teach you, Go out there, barefoot. Go do some meditating in nature, please.
Definitely. David, once again, our email is organicallyblunt@gmail.com. Just put your name in the subject and winner, and then just put your shipping address, and I'll reply back ASAP, and I'll get it over to Captain Redbeard, and he'll probably get it in the mail tomorrow, and you'll have it hopefully by next week. So there you go. And Winchester, I got tracking for you as well. I just haven't had a chance to email it over, but you might already have the package by the time I get it to you. So I'll get it over to you. So with that being said, thank you everybody for joining us this evening and have a great evening. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Organically Blunt Show, a cannabis lifestyle podcast that's raw, uncut, and unedited. Thanks for listening to the show. We would like to give thanks to this episode's partners: Grow Strong Industries, the mother brand of Gorilla Grow Tint, Kind LED, and Lotus Nutrients. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Seedsman Seeds, a trusted seed bank with over 20 years in the industry. Use coupon code Organically Blunt 10. Horticulture Lighting Group, HLG, real efficiency, real yields, and made in the USA. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Rain Science Grow Bags, one-of-a-kind mesh grow bags that eliminate problems and increase yields. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Growth Bags, the best curing solution to save terps. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Captain Redbeard Seeds, genetics that are loyal to the soil. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Humboldt Seed Company, Humboldt's original seed. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Fishhead Farms, the maker of fish shit, the most robust beneficial bacteria on the market. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Sofim Genetics, quality genetics at a fair price. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Green Wolf Genetics. These genetics come from a wolf pack that runs with quality and no BS. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Utopic Essential Nutrients. Discover the truth. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. Stream Gardening, world-leading mycorrhizal fungi. Dry tents, because we all need a place to dry that harvest. Use coupon code Organically Blunt. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to comment, like, and subscribe. And in the meantime, follow us on Instagram at Organically Blunt or on Social Club at Organically Blunt. You can reach us also via email at organicallyblunt@gmail.com. Organically Blunt can be found where you listen to podcasts such as iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Anchor.fm, and Apple Podcasts. See you next time on the Organically Blunt Show.